You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, and my boy Rizzo knows it all. Welcome to another episode of Survivor Squared. My name is Tony Squares. We're breaking down every single episode of Season 49, this latest season of Survivor, and today we're talking about our boy Alex, the politician, going home. We're talking about Rizzo keeping his idol once again. Are him, Savannah, and Sophie B about to control the show? We're talking about Yellow Sophie breaking apart, being a free agent. We're talking about Kristina not really knowing how to play Survivor. And we're talking about something from the past. But again, I cannot do this alone. I have so much to break down, so I have to bring in my ride or die. I have to bring in my Day One Alliance. So please welcome once again. Come on in, Bailey Buffs. Let's go, Bailey.
Woo woo! Your boy Rizzo has taken this away, Tony. You called it.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. He has the quote of the show every week. He's making the moves of the show. He is the ballsiest player on that island, and no one has called him out on it. Well, that's not true. They have called him out on it, but no one's done anything about it, and that amazes me to no end.
It's wild to me that they have not flushed that damn idol. Everyone knows about it, and they just keep letting him have it. It's crazy.
We will get into all the ramifications of that, breakdown everything that happened on episode 9 of Survivor. I think what's the title of it? It's not your game, it's my game. We will break down every move. What?
If you're loyal to all, you're loyal to none.
So we'll break down Rizzo, we'll break down Alex, Kristina, Savannah, MC leaving and coming back looking like the belle of the ball at the jury. We will talk about all of that, Juwan and Sage included. There's not many people left, Bailey. We're really getting down to it. But before we get there, I want to peel the curtain back and do some house cleaning real fast. Because if you've never seen this show, welcome. I appreciate you're here. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, help this channel grow. My name is Tony Squares, and you can look me up on other various social platforms as Tony Squares. And the reason why I am here is because Tony Squares, truthfully, has been on a journey watching every single season of Survivor from season 1 to season 50. I've never seen it before other than the original Richard Hatch season, so I'm going through all of this and making breakdowns every Saturday and Sunday on my social channels of the seasons that I am watching. And I am up to season 33, Millennials vs. Gen X. That video will be coming out a few days after you're seeing this. And when I make these videos, Bailey, people seem to enjoy them. People will agree with me, will disagree with me. We've fought offline about some of the takes that I've had on this show. And I usually tag some of the players, especially if they're prominent online, when I have good things to say about them. Because I like to reach out to them and be like, hey, man, just saw your 15 years ago season. Loved ya. And it's a fun interaction. And the biggest thing is, Bailey, I am 100% open and honest with my takes. I'm not coming at anybody. I'm rarely ever mean-spirited, but I definitely will say I agree with this, I don't agree with this, I like this person, I don't like this person. And I am very adamant on treating Survivor as if it was sports, meaning if I like a team or a player, I'm going to say I'm rooting for that team. I'm rooting against the other team. This team deserved to win the championship. That team didn't deserve to be in the Super Bowl. They got lucky. This one got unlucky. That's how I make these videos. And recently, season 32, Kaoh, Rong, however you say it, won by Michele Fitzgerald, right? That's her last name?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Aubrey, Bracco, and Ty, I don't know his last name, were the finalists. I made the recap video for that season. And Michele, the winner of Survivor, got mad at me. So I want to start off this section just by saying I made a former winner of Survivor angry, Bailey, and I'd like to discuss what happened. So before we even get there, I am going to play on this YouTube show my full breakdown. It's about 3 minutes long. It's in a short format, so, vertical screen. I just want you guys to see what we're going to be talking about and then what Michele said about it and how we can discuss moving forward. So, without any further ado, my season 32 breakdown of Kaoh Rong. Is this the biggest robbery in Survivor history?
And it's going to be ugly when we get home, kids. Total blindside.
My name's Tony Squares. I'm watching every single season of Survivor leading up to Survivor 50, and today we're sadly talking about Kaoh Rong.
You drive me crazy, but at the same time I also like you. Yeah.
I really struggled to like anyone this season, whether it was Earworm McGee or Nothing Burger Jones.
And everybody on the crew is essential personnel.
We also had 3 medivacs this season, an old man who ate too much, a strong man who tried too hard, and an ice cream man whose inner black soul festered and started to creep out.
This is as far as you're gonna go.
Then there's the Bash Brothers, who, while arrogant, in my opinion, played really well until the tide turned against them and they became immature children.
Damn. But maybe we should give it to Ty.
At least Debbie's funny.
It is absolutely in my realm of experience to be able to judge water just by looking at it.
She may be insane, a touch tough to root for, and has worked more jobs than Leo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can, but she is a bright light in a season full of clouds and whips out a great pickup line.
The angular features of his face just make for great photography.
Now, Sydney I liked a lot. I was definitely rooting for her, but she was outdone by one of the dumbest players in Survivor history.
I accept your idol, and I want to sit down.
Let me be perfectly clear. Ty stinks.
He is one of a kind, for sure.
The constant flip-flopping, the paranoia, the woe-is-me approach, the inability to use any advantage he was given, trying to kiss someone on the mouth without their consent, yeah, Ty stinks.
Totally going for the kiss. Just to shock him and tease him. It's like, I know he can take it. I think he likes it a little bit.
Now, when Ty's stupidity allows Aubrey to make it to the final three, I thought for sure he had handed her $1 million.
Bro, I know.
Because her journey this season is remarkable. Starts off day one with a panic attack. I thought for sure she was gone, but she just battles.
I need someone who is logical.
She even loses her #1 alliance member to a medivac, and he doesn't even give her the idol when he leaves. She battles so hard from the bottom, she finds her way to the top.
It's gonna blow back and bite me in the ass.
And then in the end, in a perfect encapsulation of her own growth over 39 days, saves her hide in a fire-making challenge in front of the world.
There it is. Aubrey survives tribal council.
This is hands down the winner of season 32, but not according to the jury.
Michele wins individual immunity.
Listen, Michelle's game is not to be poo-pooed. She fights from the bottom herself, much like Fabio did in his season, flies under the radar, wins some pivotal immunities, and forces herself into the final three. But the difference is Fabio went up against 2 losers, and Aubrey is clearly the better player. So I put Michele 26, and fans of this season, this isn't the ranking you're going to be angry at. Because this is the worst season in Survivor history. The ending all but sealed it. Join me next week when they separate the tribes by age and I try to snuff my own torch out. Okay, that was the clip. And I understand if you're fans of that season, you might not like where I placed that season. We're not here to argue that part of it yet. We're here to talk about Michele. Because Michele came on, I thought I was very fair to what I said about her. Someone tagged Michele in the video. I did not tag Michele. Someone tagged Michele in the video, and she commented the following. I wish I didn't get tagged in this. Not a good start, Bailey. I wish I didn't get tagged in this. Watch the whole thing only to realize there was not one original thought in the entire video. Ouch. Can I start off by one thing? I just want to say first thing, thank you for watching. Appreciate the support, Michele. Happy you stayed for the whole thing. Helps out the algorithm. Bailey, we may disagree on the winner and loser of that season. I thought Aubrey should have won. Michele obviously clearly thought she should have won. This was apparently a big debate.
Bailey thinks Michele should have won.
Bailey thinks Michele should have won. This was clearly a big debate when this season happened. I honestly had no idea this was a debate. I did not want to spark old flames here. What I do want to say is, you've seen my video, and I don't want you to support me just because you're the co-host on this show. I want your truthful analysis on this. You've seen my video. You may disagree that Michele should have won. Do you think I was unfair in my breakdown of that video towards her?
No, because here's the thing, and we've seen it year after year after year after year in jury after jury on Survivor. Everyone looks for something different in a winner of a season. People want different things from their winners. Some people want to see people that crawled out from the depths of the bottom and struggled the entire way and came out on top. Some people want to see people that somehow managed to stay on top. Some people want people that were social players. Some want people that were more athletic players. We all want something different. So I rewatched your video like twice because the first time I watched it, I didn't see anything. And then I saw that comment and I was like, what did he even say that was bad? And then I rewatched it and I went, oh, nothing. He just thought Aubrey should win. I don't think you said anything wrong. And I think you prefaced it perfectly that you like who you like and you're going to root for who you want to root for. I don't think you were mean. You'd said nothing mean about Michele or about anything else. It was just your take on who you thought should win the season. And I think we all have that opinion on every season. And you see that when you get to jury every single season and everyone wants different things, So no, I don't think you said or did anything wrong, but clearly you did hit a hot topic. And clearly there's still some rumblings underneath, I guess, about who should have won. But I'm like, Michele, girl, you won. Take your money and go be happy.
I have no problem with Michele coming out and saying that about my video. I will say, there's a couple of original thoughts in each of these videos. They wouldn't be performing as well if there weren't. But I am not angry at her or like, feel against her because she commented and disagreed with me. Good for her for doing so. I throw shit on the internet for a living. Stuff's going to come back at me sometimes, and I get that. I get that that's the game we're playing. I'm happy she saw it. Again, I am not happy that she might not like me. That's the game we play. I will say, though, I stand by everything I said in that video because I did not come after her and because I truthfully believe that Aubrey was the better player in that season. I understand Michele and Aubrey both come back. Aubrey is playing in season 50, so I'm excited to see the returns of some of these players as I continue to go through my binge. Maybe, like with Kelly Wentworth, I will like Michele the second time she's on my screen when the first time I didn't really enjoy the run. So who knows what will happen. I will say, I can't please them all, Bailey. I can't please them all.
Of course not. People are going to hate, and that's their right. I mean, people are allowed to disagree. It's exactly like you said. You're allowed to have an opinion on things and vocalize that opinion. People have every right to come back and say, I disagree with you and I think you're dumb. You don't have to take it. But I mean, it's inevitable. It's part of this whole process. And it's like, in the same way that we've had people say to our podcast that we're stupid and don't do our research, and then other people are like, this is the best podcast I've watched. It is what it is.
But I just wanted to clear that up. Michele and I are A-okay. She probably hasn't thought a second about me since making that comment, and that's all right too. But hey, we move forward because there are some people and future guests of this show that do like Tony Squares and his content and will be joining us in the future. A couple of things in the wire, but let's move on now to season 49, episode 9. And idle poker is how I made this thumbnail. That's how I titled this video, because the big picture from this season, really, and from this episode in particular, Bailey, is that Rizo has had an immunity idol really since the jump and has yet to even try to use it. My man, 3 straight times, has gone into the jury, has gone into tribal, and had the idol in his pocket and been on the bottom and held the idol in his pocket, calling everyone's bluff 3 consecutive times. And Bailey, at some point, you have to stop saying Rizzo's playing great and start pointing the finger at others going, what are you guys doing? When have we hit that point?
Yes, I truly think so. 3 tribals in a row where this person who is a huge, massive threat and has been a huge threat this whole time has an idol in his pocket. It's like, guys, get it together and flush the fucking idol. Like, I just don't.
You have to.
You have to. It makes no sense. And I think it's also so funny that no one's even talking about Kristina's idol because no one is fearful of her whatsoever. She's had her idol now for 2 tribal councils, just 1, 2, I think for 2.
Yeah. Two.
I understand people don't even know. Most people don't know. But also it's just like, she's not a threat, so you're not worried about that. Rizzo is a threat. How do you let him go? 3 tribals as the target, but you're too afraid to flush it because it then might not go your way. But guess what? It's not going their way anyway. They're still losing members of Hina. So
correct.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like Kristina is the only one that is really constantly pushing the narrative of we have to flush this idol.
This season has come to a point where there are clear lines in the sand of who's on what side. We have the Rizo, Sophie, Belardi, and Savannah group that has been tight-knit really from Jump Street. And then we have the bottoms-up alliance where Juwan, Sage, and Steven are kind of together. They won't write each other's names down, but also they kind of do different things in the vote. They don't necessarily follow each other step by step in these votes. They're playing very much for themselves. And then we have Kristina, who believes she has an alliance with a bunch of people that don't have an alliance with her at all. And then finally there's Yellow Sophie, who thought there was a Hina strong alliance and then realized last episode that, oh, people are coming after moi. And then she shows up at the beginning of this episode after they all voted off MC and is mad that people are surprised that she's still there. And that kind of creates a bunch of tension in between these lines of the sand. Now, the guy who gets the short end of the stick on this is the guy who keeps trying to jump over the lines, but we'll get to Alex later. You wanted to talk about the reaction of Sophie, Yellow Sophie, and Kristina after she comes back.
This was one of my favorite moments from the season thus far, and I know that's probably going to sound weird to some people because it didn't seem like a whole lot was happening, but I thought this was such a perfect moment, like Survivor moment, just to show how one interaction, one reaction can completely change people's trust. It can change people's gameplay, alliances, all of like hope in the game. Sophie coming back to camp and having Kristina and Alex immediately have like this look of complete shock. They're speechless that MC went home and Sophie is there. That information, then Sophie takes and goes, oh, wow, so we're not close. We're not as close as I thought we were. She now jumped ship and is on the other side of the tribe. Is the reason why Alex went home is because she jumped. Not because of her necessarily, but because she jumped. And the only reason she jumped was because of that one interaction. I think it is this is just my favorite part of Survivor, that I nerd out, that I'm like, it's never over. You're never on the bottom, always. You're never stuck anywhere. You just have to be looking for the opportunity and to capitalize on it, because there's always going to be an opportunity. There's always going to be a moment, a reaction, an offhanded line said that can, if you utilize it correctly and you manipulate it, you can open so many doors for yourself, for people in your alliance. Like, you can change the entire game just by being aware of those micro like aggressions, those micro reactions. It just changes. I've said the word trajectory probably 5 times on each episode, but it changes the trajectory.
I fully agree with you. And it's also why you can never give up the opportunity to have those moments with someone. So let's get to the reward challenge, because the reward challenge happens. Jawan's team has never won a reward, and he loses again. And so Kristina, who is somehow on the winning side, says, I want to give up my reward to Jawan. A very kind gesture, one that takes up a little bit of TV time as Jawan is hesitant to accept it. Everyone's saying, Jawan, go take the food, go take this reward. And Kristina trades places with Jawan. Again, extremely kind. Could have gotten Jawan on her side. They maybe have a bond, that one-on-one bond. But what we see happen afterwards is Jawan now, with Alex, Savannah, and Yellow Sophie, now hatch a plan on what to do next. These guys weren't working together before this reward challenge. They were voting against each other. And the one person Kristina needed to mend fences with was Yellow Sophie, who was on this reward. So you need to go and be with her. You need to go and be with Alex. You need to go and maybe work something out with Savannah. Jawan needs food. I get that. You want to be a motherly figure to Jawan. This is Survivor, and you need that time to sit down, not at camp, but outside in a neutral setting where you're all relaxed, well-fed, get to sit back, put your feet up, and talk shop. You need to be there to do that. So Kristina does not do that. And the couple of moves that Kristina has made recently has shown that she feels really comfortable where she is at. We're rooting for her. We like Kristina a lot. She feels really comfortable where she is at, and that is causing her to lose this game, because now she has her idol. She's told Steven about the idol. Steven has told Sage. Sage has told... So everyone knows eventually that Kristina has an idol. And who has a knowledge is power advantage that can swipe that away? But Sophie Balerdi herself in that bottom trio that is tight-knit as ever. And you also want to give up props to Sophie for not telling anyone about that advantage.
This gameplay from her is crazy to me. Because listen, I can keep secrets. I can keep other people's secrets. I cannot keep secrets about myself. I know for a fact that if I found an advantage on that island, as much as I can sit here saying, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone, I would tell somebody. I know that I would. And especially with how close she is with Savannah and Rizo, that moment where the trio are talking at night about, we're great, we have this power, like we have the extra vote, we have this, we're good. And she's just sitting there going, And she doesn't tell anyone. That is so impressive. Like, yes, girl. And that's so smart, because if she does have to flip on Rizo at some point, she could, and no one knows she has that. So they're not going to play some sneaky move where he gives it to Savannah to hold for the night to, manipulate that power. I just think it's brilliant, and I could never do it. So I have such massive respect for Sophie keeping that a secret. I really do.
It is, and I'm right there with you. When those three met, I really thought she was going to whip it out and be like, our powers combined. But no, she still held strong to it, literally. But now those powers keep on growing because Savannah has an extra vote. Rizo has his idol, and Sophie Balerdi, unbeknownst to anyone, has a knowledge is power and will likely steal Kristina's idol moving forward. And those three at the bottom, when there's 9 people, don't have a lot of power. Those three at the bottom, when there's 8 people, get a little bit more power. And so now let's bring us to this vote out and what happens here, because once again, we talked about in the beginning, Rizo holds his idol, does not go home, and now a power 4. What do we have left over? All 3 bottoms up, Steven, Joanne, and Sage. We have Kristina, and we have Yellow Sophie. That's 5 people against those 3 who all have superpowers. It's going to get tougher to attack those bottom 3. It's going to get more unlikely that these 5 can do anything, especially if they're already all over the place. I don't know if it's going to happen, Bailey. We talked about 2 weeks ago how we had no idea. We thought Survivor tricked us. We had no idea, Rizo and Savannah, how they're going to get themselves out of this Scooby-Doo type error. And yet, they're here still. And now they seemingly have all the control. It's interesting, to say the least. I don't know how it's going to happen. I think it's terrible gameplay by the other 6 of them.
It's 1,000% bad gameplay. I mean, again, I love Kristina as a person in the depths of my soul. I don't like her as a player. I mean, she doesn't do much, unfortunately. I love her. And I felt the same with Alex. I feel the same with Steven a little bit. Like, there are just certain players that are coasting and they're not actually attacking. And then so when you see these bottom 3 in Rizo, Savannah, and Sophie, who are attacking, they are playing, they are waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning and talking strategy. They are talking to all the different people. They're planting seeds. They're playing the game. And so, yeah, of course they're going to, and this is what I'm talking about of like, it's never over. You just have to find the opportunities to make things happen for yourself. And that's what these 3 are doing. They're making shit happen for themselves. And I just think it's so impressive. And I am someone that pays very close attention to the edits. I always think it's very interesting throughout the season to see who are the editors focusing on, who is getting the most confessionals, who are we learning the most about outside of this show. And I will say, we're 9 episodes in now, and I think there are 2 standouts, which lead me to believe that these 2 standouts are probably going to be in the final 3. And those 2 people are Savannah and Joanne. We are learning so much about Joanne and so much about Savannah. We are getting insight into these moments of insecurity, these places of trauma from their past. We're learning about their family, about their jobs. Like, we're not learning that about other people on this island. So I do think that we may have been incorrect. I think Savannah and Rizo are going to last a lot longer than we thought they were going to. I mean...
Yeah, with Joanne in there too, yeah.
With Joanne in there as well. Yeah, I really genuinely think that those 3 are somehow just going to really manipulate it and make it far.
Well, Savannah's definitely going to last if she keeps winning immunity. Let's move forward to the immunity challenge real quick. A foot challenge, which I hate, despise foot challenges. I'm watching all these recaps and redos, and there's like ones where they have to use their feet to stack like a tower puzzle. Hate those challenges. Hate them. And so when they said you have to put your feet on this disc and hold it up as long as you can, I was like, oh man, I can't fast forward. I have to watch this for the show. But let's go. It is funny. Steven starts spitting out space facts. I may have made fun of that in a video already. It is a very fun challenge. Joanne repeating the names of his brothers and sisters to stay up there. Eventually, though, Steven wins immunity. And Savannah versus Yellow Sophie again, and Savannah wins immunity. Before we get any further, I want to say, people have talked about Savannah being the villain this season. I made a case last week that I don't really see her as a villain. I see her as sort of like, definitely has that mean girl persona, but kind of is miscast in that role. She was a villain here. She was 100% a villain here. She's looking at Sophie and not just saying, I'm not dropping. I'm not going anywhere. She's gloating. She is getting into Sophie's mind saying, I'm not moving. You're going to drop before me. You might as well drop now. You might as well quit. You might as well quit. I thought, I was like, the first 2 or 3 times she said it, I was like, okay, get him, Savannah. After she kept going, I was like, Jesus Christ, Savannah, just win. Just win. Just shut up and win.
Just hold it. Yeah.
But she does. She takes down Yellow Sophie once again. Savannah wins immunity. Steven wins immunity. Makes a long-ass speech about how shark teeth to human teeth, and Jeff plays him off. Steven's an interesting cat, but hey, this is how it's going to go. And now we move forward to the vote where Alex continues to try to get people to vote for Rizo and also gets people to try to vote for someone else as well. He's still trying to play every single side of this, and it ends up costing him. Bailey, when you're on the island, put yourself in Alex's shoes. Wouldn't you try to play the middle as well? He's been middling since he was the final two blue members from the original Kaoh tribe. So finally he gets caught in this, but I don't think it was necessarily a bad move by him to try it.
I think it's exceptionally smart to try to play the middle. However, I also think it's exceptionally hard to maneuver that. So I think there's not a problem with playing the middle and solidifying your relationships on both sides, but I do think there comes a point, a very pivotal moment that is different for each player, where you do kind of have to choose. You have to choose a side, and you have to start to really get trust in those people. I feel like that's something we saw Steven do with Sage this episode, with telling her about Kristina's idol. And he said, I'm not telling anyone else, but I'm doing this as an act of faith for you to understand that I want to play with you. I'm on your side. We didn't see Alex do anything like that. Alex, even going back to Sophie, he didn't even try to reconnect with Sophie at all. We've talked about that, of wanting that. They had such a strong start. So I think, unfortunately, by him skating in the middle so much, it does become obvious at some point then, because you now are the common denominator of an enemy, because no one feels close to you. No one feels like they can trust you. You're the easy person to swap on and then take out, because everyone thinks you're shifty because you haven't solidified anything with anyone. And you have to make some moves like that. You can still skate the middle, but have at least one person that's your ride or die, or one group of people that you tend to tell more info to, something. I just think he skated the line too closely. It needed to swerve in one direction or another by this point, in my opinion.
I think you bring up a great point, though, that I haven't really thought of until now. It's probably, now that I'm sort of pondering it, it's probably my biggest complaint about the edit so far on this season. What happened to Sophie B and Alex? Because those two had to be tight and drawn together through their shared experience the first few days on the island. Their tribe gets decimated. They've gone through so much, and yet Sophie flips on Jeremiah to keep herself and Alex in the game. That is a trust bond that's not going to be broken. And then, yes, they go to two different tribes when they go back to, and they're never really together again. But we've seen over and over again that these two now come back together when there's the merge. We saw one conversation between them where Sophie said she was going to stay with the Uli tribe. Alex said he was going to stay with the Hina tribe. But at this point, what happened between them that they're not even trying to work together? They're not having those conversations, those shared moments. I understand you make relationships with other people, but I would have liked to have seen that happen more. Why are these two sort of broken up the way they are?
Both of them have a hand in that. And I think we just touched on it a little bit for Alex. I think the problem with Alex was he was trying to skate the middle too much, that he didn't go back to someone that was a strong alliance member, because he wanted to keep the middle with his new people. And then I think for Sophie, and we've touched on this before too in past episodes, I think, yes, she had a strong relationship with Alex in the beginning, almost because she had to and because they were trauma bonded. But there are certain times you see at tribe swaps or even merges, people meet new people and just feel instantly bonded to them. And their connection is just stronger. You innately trust them more. You feed off their energy better. So I think that's what happened with Sophie and Savannah and Rizo. She found them and it was just like, oh, these are my people. And then not seeing Alex make a commitment towards her, I think it was easy for her to go, okay, well then I'm staying with this group. This group is solid. I trust them. I'm staying with them. So I think it's both of those things combined, but I think it does come back to the conversation of Alex just not choosing anyone to really align with and just trying to be cool with everyone.
Yeah, and he calls that out when we get to, we're going to tribal council now. He ends up getting almost all of the votes. Only Steven, Kristina, and himself vote for anyone else. And 6 votes on Alex, and he immediately realizes what's going on. And I thought he had a very mature reaction to it, where he was immediately like, yep, I was playing both sides. Good job, guys. He immediately was like, caught me. Red-handed, yeah.
I loved his comment of, oh, you guys all talk? Like, that was so cute. And it's funny to have that type of commentary on yourself, and to break the tension like that and make everyone laugh and everyone be like, okay, we're cool, and also to know that someone is going to the jury not as a bitter jury member, as someone who has full awareness of their flaws in the game, which is what I love. I hate a bitter jury. I get a bitter jury, but I hate it. So I like that he went out the way that he did. My other favorite part, and we lightly touched on this, of the jury was just, we have to talk about that moment with MC.
My favorite, but yes, before we get to that moment, my favorite bit, and I've tried to make this into a video, but it'd be too, people would think I'm talking about different things, but the difference between the person on the island and the person in full, looking what they want to look like as they walk into the jury, it's my favorite moment every episode, because I love, some people look a hell of, just different, and some people look better, some people look worse, some people they always look so vastly different. And MC comes out looking like a perfection, like absolute perfection. And sits down, spotlight's on her. She sits down, she looks, she smiles, she tosses her hair back a little bit, and you hear Jawan audibly go, "Damn." He was in love, Bailey. I'm in love too.
Fell in love. I mean, how could you not? She looked incredible. I mean, she's gorgeous. She was gorgeous on the island. I mean, she's so beautiful. But she came in all done up, and it was like a double take from Jawan. He just said, "Damn, girl." He said, "I fell in love." It was great. It was so funny. I love Jawan. He's so funny.
I do love Jawan too. And that was probably the best moment. Much better than Nate's fedora. And we'll see what Alex looks like next week, because he has now joined the jury. And while we cannot snuff out the torch of Alex on this podcast, we do like to say goodbye to each survivor elimination in our own special way. So this week we are giving it off to Alex, and we are heading to Survivor Gravestones.
The politician from DC who struggled at the start, the sweetest smile and kindest eyes. You have such a big, big heart. You tried to ride the middle, but your tribe mates all caught on. You have to pick a side, my man. You can't stay a central pawn. So adios, my dear sweet friend. You've truly been a joy. I wish you all the best of luck to our final Kella boy.
Damn. Yeah, Kella getting decimated. An ode to the middleman who tried to skate by the best he can, was everyone's best friend except for the chicken, whose neck he snapped, but let's not nitpick him. A political player advancing at his leisure, but in the end met his demise like Caesar. And that is it for our good friend Alex. Goodbye.
Bye, buddy.
All right, Bailey, let's wrap this up. You did not guess Alex would be next eliminated, correct? I think it was someone else. Yeah, so we
guessed
finally
Steven, and you guessed Sage.
We finally threw away that streak here. I do want to say, before we get to the superlatives here, we haven't talked about Sage nearly enough. Are you rooting for Sage?
Yeah, I like Sage. I mean...
You do?
I do. I know some people are talking online about how she's the mean girl and people think she has a mean girl edit. I don't see that. And I think it's because I've known people like Sage who are just like quirky and weird and a little offbeat. I don't think that she is malicious or she's trying to be mean. I think she just like really wears her reactions on her face, which is something I totally agree with. My face has gotten me into trouble many a times because I cannot hide my reaction. And I think she's very similar to that. And do I think she's going to win? Do I think she's played the most amazing game? No, but I do think she's very smart. I've enjoyed watching her. I've enjoyed seeing the different relationships she's made. I like Sage.
Yeah. jury's out for me because she's when she was with Shannon making those faces behind her back, I was with her because I too was making those faces at Shannon. Shannon was not my favorite player, but now maybe it's because I'm rooting for Savannah. Now it's Sage versus Savannah. I'm seeing Sage in a different light, so maybe it's my own bias cast on Sage here. But jury's out on my feelings towards Sage. I do think, however, she's playing a really good game. I think her and Juwan are playing excellent games just against people who you need to eliminate the idol. But let's move on. Who do you think was the MVP of this episode, Bailey?
I'm almost inclined to say Rizo. And I know he didn't win, but I just feel like he is a puppet master right now. He's manipulating so much. He did plant those seeds of doubt about Alex in a bunch of people's brains. He is thinking about, who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do in order to solidify my standpoint and keep my idol? He had a great conversation with Juwan. He had a great conversation with Kristina. He had a good conversation. I think he's just really master manipulating and just being a puppet master. And I think that while maybe the spotlight isn't being on him, just to watch him silently pull the strings is so impressive to me that I'd say it's probably between him or Juwan. I just liked that we got to know Juwan more this episode. I don't necessarily feel like he did anything to win it, but I do feel like he's winning my heart every episode a little bit more and more. So that's, I think, who I'm inclined to say.
I think, even though I made fun of him, I think the MVP this week was Steven. I think Steven not only winning immunity, which again means a lot to me, but also him now understanding that it's kind of murky out there. Like, yes, they need to go after Rizo and Savannah, but also he needs to keep Sage strong. Sage doesn't tell Juwan that Kristina has an idol because Steven is closer to Sage now than Sage is close to Juwan. He has won that relationship. He still is on Kristina's good side. He was on Alex's good side. Like, he's still playing this role of he's the person everyone comes to sort of lay out their troubles here. So he's middling better than Alex was middling.
That's what
so
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think Steven, to me, is the MVP of this episode. Who do you think is the next person eliminated, Bailey?
I think I'm just going to say Sage. I don't want it to be Sage, but I just feel like her and Savannah are really going to get into it. I mean, I don't know if you watched any of the next week on Survivor clips, but there's some emotionally charged moments, apparently. We see Rizo crying. We see gasps at Tribal Council. There's a lot going on. So I think it's either Sage or Sophie B. Those are my two, but I'm leaning more towards Sage.
I was going to agree with you and say Sage, but just to be different on the show, I think the bottoms up alliance starts to get got, and I think Steven's the one I'm going to go with. I think people realize Steven is playing the same game as Alex and try to attack him, and they fail. They maybe flush out the idol, but they definitely fail to get out Rizo, Sophie, Belardi, or Savannah. That's my pick, and that's our show. That's it for Survivor Squared. We will be back. Bailey, we got to figure this out because next week is Thanksgiving, but we will be back with a show at some point during next week. It might be a little bit later than on Thanksgiving itself, but we will be here. Thank you again for watching the show. Thank you, Bailey, for joining me on this podcast, and we shall see what the future brings. Survivor 50, Bailey, it's right around the corner.
It's so soon, and guess what I'm thankful for on Thanksgiving? Survivor.
What? Oh,
Survivor. God. And Jeff. And you.